In today's video, I'm sharing what I do now to naturally support my sleep and help me sleep more deeply at 58. It took me a while to figure out what my body needed to break the cycle of broken sleep. As a qualified nutritional therapist, the first place I looked at was my diet. What was helping my sleep and what was quietly making it worse. I'll also share what I do that isn't food or nutrition related, so stay with me until the end for those tips too. The first thing I do that helps me sleep better in midlife is to eat my evening meal at a time that's right for me. What does this mean and why is it important? Some advice says that we should eat our evening meal very early, so that our body has plenty of time to digest before we sleep. But this doesn't work for me. When I eat too early, I end up waking up hungry in the night. And once I'm awake, I find it so much harder to fall back to sleep again. I've found that eating between 7 and 8 p.m. works best. Any later makes sleep lighter because digestion and body temperature stays higher. But eating too early leaves me waking up hungry in the night. The next thing I do is to be mindful with caffeine, because caffeine affects midlife sleep more than we realize. Caffeine can stay in our system for hours, and as we move through midlife, our bodies clear it more slowly. Even small amounts later in the day can lighten sleep, because caffeine blocks our natural sleep-regulating hormone, making it harder to wind down. That's why I now keep things simple. 1 cup of coffee, finished by 9 a.m. I want the caffeine out of my system as early as possible. Even if I'm having dark chocolate, which has a small amount of caffeine, that can still affect my sleep. I have it earlier in the day, so it doesn't interfere with my nighttime rest. For hot drinks later in the day, I switch to rooibos or red bush tea in the afternoons, and mint tea in the evenings. They're naturally caffeine-free, and they give me the comfort of a warm drink without affecting my sleep. Next, I'll show you the nutrition habit that made the biggest difference to my sleep: keeping my blood sugar steady. Blood sugar dips are one of the most common reasons so many of us wake suddenly between 2 and 4 a.m. When levels drop too low, our body releases cortisol to bring them back up. A natural response that's helpful during the day, because it signals that we may need to eat. But at night, it makes our brain more alert. Low blood sugar during the day can also lead to quick sugary snacks, creating a spike and crash pattern into the evening and set the stage for lighter, more disrupted sleep. Protein-rich foods, whether from animal or plant sources, and healthy fats like avocado or olive oil help slow down digestion, so glucose is released more steadily. That steady energy through the day means fewer dips, fewer cravings, and a calmer evening. All of which make a big difference to how well I sleep now in midlife. Here's what works for me and why these choices make a real difference to keeping my blood sugar steady and my sleep more stable. If I have breakfast, I keep it light. Eggs if I can be bothered to cook, or yogurt with mixed seeds. Both give me enough protein and healthy fats to stay focused through the morning without feeling shaky or hungry. Lunch is usually a fish or something simple and quick to cook or heat up, but always with plenty of hearty vegetables. This combination keeps my blood sugar steady and stops the afternoon cravings that used to make me go overboard with sugary snacks and anything else quick and convenient. Dinner is my more relaxed meal. I often have rice and sometimes pasta, but I always pair them with vegetables or protein. That balance helps slow down how quickly sugars from the meal enter my bloodstream, which prevents the late night dips that used to wake me up. To support this even further, I also focus on nutrients that help my body unwind. And one of the most important for deeper, calmer sleep at midlife is magnesium. Many of us fall low in magnesium in midlife, and it plays a key role in helping our muscles relax and our nervous system unwind. Low levels can make it harder to switch off in the evenings. Eating more magnesium-rich foods has made a real difference to my sleep. Foods such as pumpkin seeds, chia and flax seeds, cashews, chickpeas, edamame, and sometimes even a little dark chocolate for snacking. Although I include plenty of magnesium-rich foods in my diet, I know that they're not always enough on their own. So I take a magnesium supplement about an hour before lights out to support my wind down for sleep. So those are the nutrition habits that support my natural sleep rhythm. Now, here's what I do outside of food that also makes a big difference. Going for a walk isn't just about exercise. It supports both the brain and midlife sleep. Walking boosts a protein in the brain called BDNF, which naturally declines with age and plays a role in memory, learning, and calming the stress response. When BDNF is supported through regular movement, it also helps the circadian rhythm, making it easier to settle into deeper sleep. Screens and bright lights send wake-up signals to the brain, and even a few minutes of blue light at night may delay the body's natural wind down. Because I spend a lot of my day in front of screens, I notice the difference when I don't get enough natural daylight. Too much screen exposure narrows the range of light our eyes take in, and blue light in particular suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle and support a steady circadian rhythm. Natural daylight, especially in the morning or daytime, activates the light-sensitive cells in our eyes that signal when it's time to wake and when it's time to wind down. Being outside exposes us to the full spectrum of daylight, which strengthens that day-night rhythm and supports more restful sleep in midlife. I try to go out for a walk for at least an hour, 2 to 3 times per week, and I look toward the sky or brighter daylight so that my eyes get natural light exposure. The movement helps me feel naturally ready for sleep, and the daylight helps reset my circadian rhythm. After that natural light and movement, the next thing that helps my sleep is reducing stimulation in the evenings. Because screens are a big part of my work, avoiding them completely isn't realistic, so I'm stricter with timing. If I'm editing, I stop around 6 p.m. because the later I work, the more alert I feel. One habit that helps is switching from the bright overhead light to a softer night light. That warmer, lower light signals to my body that the day is winding down and it's time to settle into a calmer state. The next thing that helps my sleep is something simple but surprisingly effective: limiting light as much as possible at night. I never realized how much light affected my sleep until I started wearing a sleep mask in 2023, and it made a bigger difference than I expected. Living in a house share, everyone has different sleeping patterns, so lights going on and off can easily disturb me. My curtains don't fully block out street lights either, and there's a device in my room that emits light I can't switch off. These are all things I can't control. What I can control is blocking out the light itself, and the simplest way for me to do that is with a sleep mask. Even though it can sometimes feel a bit snug around my eyes, wearing it has noticeably improved my sleep in midlife. And on the mornings when I pull the mask off and realize I've had 7 to 9 hours of sleep, it reminds me just how much reducing light makes a difference. If you want to keep building on this, my next video is all about supplements I take to support deeper sleep, steadier energy, and even how I keep my skin, hair and nails in good condition. So make sure you don't miss it.